Welcome to ComfortTV.channel news, bringing you verified and balanced news from Nigeria and around the world. I am Faith Kevin. Thank you for joining us. First, the headlines. NRC gives update on aborted Port Harcourt-Aba train service. Fire guards filling station in Anambra damages building and vehicles. IGP appoints ACP Dolapo Badmus, Nigeria police rep, to the UN. Oil marketers to join NUPENG strike over dispute with Dangote Refinery. On business news, experts call for bankable projects to unlock Africa's $70 billion infrastructure gap. On the foreign scene, South Korea reaches deal with the U.S. to return home 300 workers detained in Hyundai plant raid. And on sports, World Cup qualifier Osimhen out of South Africa's clash. Now the news. The Nigerian Railway Corporation, NRC, has explained the circumstances behind the aborted Port Harcourt-Aba train service, attributing the disruption to a technical hitch. In a statement issued on Monday by its managing director, Dr. Kayode Okpefa, the NRC announced plans to refund all passengers affected by the incident. The corporation had earlier expressed regret over the inconvenience experienced by passengers after videos surfaced on social media showing stranded commuters trekking long distances and crossing a stream in search of alternative transport. According to the statement, the train broke down at Imo River on Wednesday, September 3, while en route from Aba to Port Harcourt. The train had since been returned to Port Harcourt for thorough repairs to ensure it is fit for service. The corporation advised all affected passengers to visit its stations in Port Harcourt or Aba with evidence of payment for either a refund or replacement train ride. A major fire outbreak occurred at Okeb filling station along the Oka-Onisha Expressway by Amobia Enugu Agidi bypass flyover junction over the weekend when a fuel tanker exploded while discharging petrol. The inferno destroyed the station's administrative block, machines, tools, and vehicles. The incident triggered panic as 4 private cars and 3 commercial vehicles in the queue sped off to safety. Eyewitnesses say curiously, a white Sienna with the bold inscription Haba Agulu, reference the dreaded shrine in Agulu, escaped unscathed while vehicles beside it, including a tricycle and a bus, were gutted. No life was lost. The blaze, which lasted 3 hours, was eventually contained by operatives of the Anambra State Fire Service. Their timely intervention prevented the flames from spreading to nearby buildings and small shops. There was speculation that the fire may have started from part of the building which houses a supermarket, but eyewitnesses insisted the explosion occurred as the tanker was discharging fuel into the underground tank. An eyewitness, Chidi, praised the fighters, noting that they risked the danger of the underground tanker catching fire to bring the inferno under control. He also commended sympathizers who joined efforts to stop the fire from spreading. Confirming the incident, the media and publicity unit of the Anambra State Service, led by State Fire Chief Chukwudi Chiketa, said 2 fire trucks and 2 crews were deployed to the scene following a distress call. Petroleum product marketers have threatened to withdraw their services nationwide from Tuesday, today, September 9, 2025, if the federal government fails to resolve the ongoing dispute between the Nigerian Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers, NUPENG, and the Dangote Refinery. At a joint press briefing in Abuja, leaders of the Natural Oil and Gas Suppliers Association of Nigeria, NOGASA, Petroleum Product Retail Owners Association of Nigeria, Petroan, and Nigerian Association of Road Transport Owners, NATO, warned that while they support the refinery's success, it must not come at the expense of their businesses. They urged Dangote Refinery to focus on operating its facility effectively while allowing other stakeholders to thrive in the downstream sector. The president of NOGASA, Mr. Bennett Corrier, expressed concerns that marketers would be forced out of business if Dangote is allowed to supply products directly to retailers. He warned that marketers had no choice but to consider withdrawing their services nationwide in solidarity with NUPENG if the matter remained unresolved. Back in the strike, Petron President Mr. Billy Gillis Harris said marketers were acting to protect jobs in the sector. On his part, NATO National President Mr. Yusuf Lawal Othman warned that tanker owners who currently operate about 30,000 trucks would lose their investments. The Inspector General of Police, IGP Kayode Egbetokun, has approved the appointment of Assistant Commissioner of Police, ACP Dolapo Badmus, as the Nigerian Police Force Permanent Missions Representative to the United Nations headquarters in New York. The deployment, according to the force headquarters, is part of ongoing efforts to strengthen Nigeria's engagement in international law enforcement and global security affairs. Before her new assignment, ACP Badmus served as Assistant Commissioner of Police in Federal Operations at the Department of Force Intelligence, Abuja. She has held several operational and administrative positions, but is best known for her outstanding tenure as Police Public Relations Officer in Lagos State Command and Zone 2 Command, where she was lauded for her professionalism and media-friendly approach. The Lagos State chapter of the All Progressives Congress has described China's decision to accept the Nigerian naira for transaction as a milestone in Nigeria's economic diplomacy and a major boost to the nation's recovery efforts under President Bola Tinubu. In a statement issued on Monday, the party's spokesman Sheye Oladijo said the policy would ease Nigeria's overdependence on the US dollar for international trade, providing immediate relief for businesses, importers, and manufacturers. According to him, the move will reduce pressure on the foreign exchange markets, strengthen the naira, and ensure greater economic stability. He added that the policy would encourage local producers to scale up production, knowing their goods could now access one of the world's largest consumer markets without heavy dollar dependence. Taking a swipe at the opposition, Oladejo said the development shatters their doomsday narrative, stressing that under President Tinubu, Nigeria is firmly on the path of economic recovery and growth. The party congratulated President Tinubu, the Central Bank of Nigeria, and the Ministry of Finance for what it called a visionary achievement, urging manufacturers, traders, exporters, and financial institutions to maximize the benefits of the breakthrough. Fresh fuel scarcity is set to hit Delta State as members of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, and the Nigerian Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers, NUPENG, have announced an indefinite strike beginning Monday, September 8, 2025. The decision followed an emergency meeting held on Saturday, September 6, 2025, where both unions resolved to shut down all filling stations across the state from 6 a.m. on Monday until further directives are issued by their national leadership. In a circular distributed to marketers, the unions warned that any filling station found operating during the strike will be fined 1 million naira. The federal government has directed the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority (NCAA) to publicly name and shame airlines that disrupt flights without genuine reasons. The Director of Public Affairs and Consumer Protection at NCAA, Mr. Michael Achimugu, disclosed this in the post on X. He warned that situations where airline staff deliberately abandon passengers and leave NCAA consumer protection officers to deal with angry customers will no longer be tolerated. He stressed that exposing NCAA officials to unnecessary risk while supporting airlines and protecting passenger rights was unacceptable. Achimugu confirmed that in line with the directives from the federal government and the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, the naming and shaming of airing airlines will commence immediately. Olu of Warri Ogiame Atuwatse III has intervened to rescue its Shekiri students of Novena University Ogume Ndokwa West, Delta State, who graduated under the Presidential Amnesty Program (PAP) but were denied their certificates over the program's inability to settle their tuition and clearance fees. Sole representative of the Olu of Warri, Ogiame Atuwatse III, to NNPCL and its JV partners, Prince Collins Edema, made this known in a statement. According to Edema, the gesture showed the monarch's commitment to the growth, development, and empowerment of its Shekiri youths. He said the affected students must complete a Google form to submit their details, adding that payments will begin in batches once the data collection process is concluded. Upon completion, students will be able to collect their certificates and proceed to the NYSC program without further hindrance. ComfortTV.channel news continues shortly with business, foreign, and sports news. Stay tuned. Many thanks for staying tuned. On business news, the Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Abubakar Kyari, has revealed that the country loses an estimated 3.5 trillion naira annually to post-harvest inefficiencies, largely affecting smallholder farmers, even as he unveiled systems transformation program to tackle the challenge. He said the initiative, in line with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's renewed hope agenda, to eradicate poverty, attain food and nutrition security, economic growth, as well as reduce post-harvest losses. The federal government has unveiled an ambitious Nigeria post-harvest system transformation program to ensure a resilient, efficient, and inclusive post-harvest handling and storage system. Speaking at the Nigerian Legacy Program organized by the African Food Systems Forum in partnership with the Alliance for a Green Revolution in Nigeria in Dakar, Senegal, the minister stated that the program will stabilize food prices, ensure availability, accessibility, affordability of stable food, improve storage system, as well as achieve national food sovereignty. The minister said that the program will focus on household storage technologies, community-level warehouses, cold rooms, and strategic national silos managed through public-private partnership, amongst others. He noted that this move will improve agricultural exports, nutrition, household sales, and job opportunities, plus farmers' incomes and wealth, as well as achieve food import substitution in the agricultural sector. Kyari called for stronger international collaboration, stressing that transforming post-harvest system will secure farmer livelihoods, revive agribusiness, confidence, and position Nigeria as a leading food supplier in West Africa. The Nigerian Customs Service (NCS) will allow duty-free clearance for imported goods valued at $300 or less effective Monday, 8 September 2025, under a new de minimis policy aimed at simplifying trade. The measure applies to low-value consignments, e-commerce shipments, and passenger baggage, allowing faster customs clearance and supporting cross-border trade. The announcement was made in a press release issued and signed by Abdullahi Maiwada, PhD Assistant Controller of Customs and National Public Relations Officer for the Comptroller General of Customs. The statement says the de minimis threshold represents the value below which imported goods are exempt from import duties and related taxes, aligning Nigeria with international standards such as the World Trade Organization Trade Facilitation Agreement and the World Customs Organization Revised Kyoto Convention. Each individual may benefit from the exemption for up to 4 importations per year, provided the goods are not prohibited or restricted. Under the new framework, eligible consignments will be released immediately without post-clearance documentation. The de minimis policy is expected to stimulate e-commerce, reduce custom clearance delays, and strengthen Nigeria's position as a regional trade hub while maintaining strict adherence to legal and ethical standards. The PMI Global Summit Series Africa, which held recently in Kigali, Rwanda, has emphasized that poorly prepared projects in Africa remain the biggest barrier to the continent's transformation. According to expert views from the summit, Africa's greatest obstacle is not a shortage of capital, but a shortage of bankable projects. The summit, the largest of its kind on the continent, served as a platform to discuss how Africa can turn its vast potential into reality through bankable projects, professional project management, and strategic partnership that deliver long-term impact. In his address, the former president, African Development Bank, AFDB, Dr. Akinwumi Adesina, said Africa remained at a pivotal moment in history. He said the world is becoming more African, adding that 1 in 4 people on the planet will soon be African. He said with 65% of the world's uncultivated arable land, abundant critical minerals for the green transition, and 13 of the world's fastest growing economies, Africa is poised to drive global prosperity and must close its infrastructure gap, estimated at $70 billion annually, while ensuring that projects deliver real impact. On the foreign scene, more than 300 South Korean workers were detained following a massive immigration raid at a Hyundai plant in Georgia and will be released and brought home. This is coming from the South Korean government. Kang Hoon-sik, Chief of Staff for President Lee Jae-myung, said that South Africa and the U.S. had finalized negotiations on the workers' release. He said South Korea plans to send a charter plane to bring the workers home as soon as remaining administrative steps are completed. Foreign Minister Cho Yeon is to leave for the U.S. on Monday for talks related to the workers' release, South Korean media reported. U.S. immigration authorities said Friday they detained 475 people, most of them South Korean nationals, when hundreds of federal agents raided Hyundai's sprawling manufacturing site in Georgia, where the Korean automaker makes electric vehicles. Agents focused on the plant that is still under construction, at which Hyundai has partnered with LG Energy Solution to produce batteries that power EVs. The operation was the latest in a long line of workplace raids conducted as part of Trump's administration's mass deportation agenda. But the one on Thursday is especially distinct because of its large size and the fact that state officials that have long called the targeted site Georgia's largest economic development project.